Peter Phillips, the late Queen Elizabeth's grandson of Princess Anne, talks about their touching final moments together and acknowledges that it's still quite emotional to think back on them. The last hours he spent in Scotland with his late grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, have been made public by Peter Phillips. On September 8, 2022, the 46-year-old royal, the son of Princess Anne and her first husband, Captain Mark Phillips, said he was lucky to be in Scotland before she passed. Peter reminisced on their few days spent as a family in an interview with Sky News Australia, calling it really nice. "That was a nice family moment, and looking back, it's still really emotional," he said, and then, of course, it became more of a public mourning when she departed Balmoral. It was easier to be able to share the public's sorrow for her, even if it wasn't always easy since we had, in many ways, had our private moment with her and said our goodbyes. A merchant named Peter called the late Queen remarkable in so many ways, adding, "She was a figurehead that had been part of everybody's life for as long as they could remember." He also shared some personal insights. "It was special to have her as a grandmother and role model," he remarked. He attributed his grandparents' teachings on how to grow up and behave to the influence the late Duke of Edinburgh and the King had on all the members of the royal family. Peter explained that having his grandparents around for a large portion of his life had given him a greater connection, a greater respect, and a greater ability to be able to learn from them, which seemed to imply that he had a close relationship with them. Spoke warmly about the time he and his cousins had spent discussing their lives over a meal with Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, calling it fascinating because it was a different part of history. Peter then turned to King Charles III and praised his uncle for how he had managed the change, maintaining many of the traditions set by his parents but still leaving his own stamp.